Sometimes when you do a hive inspection, you're not able to find the queen, and that's okay. But there are signs that the queen is still there or has been there in the last couple of days. I'm going to show you some signs of what to look for so you know you have a queen in your hive. So I'm just giving them a little smoke to calm them down. The other day when I was in here, they were pretty feisty and going after my hands. So can hear a little bit of a roar in there every time I smoke. Take this off. This is their honey super, which I just recently put on because we're in a fall flow, or just started the fall flow, but they haven't really done much with it, so I'm just gonna set that to the side. I have a little worker box, like a work box that I use. I don't put any bees in it, but I'm gonna put the excess frames, like the frames with the honey on it, I'm gonna put in there so I can make some room to check out some of the brood chambers so we can look for bee eggs. And then that way, that's one of the signs that you can tell you have an active queen in your colony. This one is, sorry, this one is pretty sealed in here. They've got some comb that's come over to the other side. And so it's making it a little difficult to get out. There we go. Got it now. There we go. Okay, there we go. So this is a pretty heavy frame. It's got some capped honey on this side, and then on the other side there is some honey too, but it is not capped. Oh, a little bit is at the bottom, but most of it's not capped. So I'm just gonna move this to the side the way I took it out so I can put it back in just as they had it, because again, I don't want to move around their furniture in their house and disrupt everything. So there we go. Now I'm gonna move, it looks like this next frame is also full of honey. It's like capped honey. I'm gonna move this out of the way too so I can get to the other frames. Typically the bees will put the honey on the outside frames, and then the inside frames will be the brood frames. And the brood frames would have the baby bees on them. So you can see this is another honey frame, and it's partially capped honey. The other cells are open honey. And then on the other side, it's all capped pretty much. So that's capped honey right there. That's honey you can harvest because the capped honey is the honey that has been dehydrated enough to be shelf stable. Okay, so here we go. Let's get in here and see what we have. Now it's much easier to get to the frames because I have some space to work in. So that's why I removed those, just to give me a little room. Okay, so I'm seeing some honey over here, but I'm also seeing some brood. The brown stuff right here is brood. And there's a little bit of capped honey too right here, the lighter stuff. And this area is capped honey. But this is brood right here. What I want to look for is I want to see if I can see some eggs, and I do see some eggs up here in this area. There are some little grains of rice is what I like to call them, because that's what they look like. They're very small, and that's how one of the signs that you know you have a queen in your hive, or you've had a queen the last couple of days, which is a pretty good way of making sure. That's all uncapped honey on that side. So this is the side that is important. We have some some bee eggs. And I'm just gonna scan really quick to see if I see a queen. And I do not see the queen on there. And you know what, I probably should have checked those 2 frames I took out to see if there's a queen on them. She's not typically on the honey, but she can be. She can go wherever she wants. So let's look at this next one. Let's see if we can find some more eggs. And then the other thing I want to look for is to see if any queen cells have been made. And that would mean that the hive senses there is no queen and is creating a new queen or several new queens. Typically they will create quite a few. And that also is a good indication as to whether or not you have a queen. So this is full of brood. This frame, you can see all the brown. Those are capped brood. That means that those bees are going to be hatching soon. There's a little bit of capped honey, but that's a good sign. She's a good laying pattern too, pretty full, thick. I'm just seeing if I spot our queen. Again, it's not necessary. We're already looking for the signs to see if that this hive has a queen. I will say that they're pretty calm and quiet until the smoke hits them. And then they're not super happy about that. But that's also another sign that your hive has a queen. Because when they are really, really loud and sound very agitated, they typically do not have a queen. Oh, that smoke just keeps, the wind just keeps moving and the smoke just keeps moving. So every time the smoke comes their direction, you can hear them kind of flare up. So I'm just gonna move this. I'm gonna actually pull this out and then I'm gonna move this down below because it's actually going in my face too and it's not great. I'm like choking on that smoke. Ugh. Okay, so here is another frame. It looks like we've got a lot of brood on this frame too. And the brood frames are nice and light, so they're very easy to pick up. The honey frames are the heavy part. And so that makes it challenging when you're trying to get those first frames out because they are very heavy. So I see a lot of capped brood in here and I see just some uncapped brood, so there's some larvae in there that are growing. I'm not really seeing, trying to see if I see any more eggs. There might be some eggs down there. It's a little hard to see in the shadow, but I think there might be some more eggs down there as well. So this hive is looking good. It looks like we've got a nice queen who's laying well and they seem happy. They're actually very calm. Very calm right now. Just doing their thing. I'm just gonna grab a couple more frames just to see if we can find our queen. And like I said, if we can't, it's not a problem. We've already spotted signs that we do have a queen in the hive. So I use the smoke to calm them down so they don't communicate their alarm pheromone, but also to move them off frames because I don't want to squish any bees. So it helps to kind of get them to go down into the box, which is nice. So I can get my tool in and move a frame. So let's see here. This one also, it has some capped honey on the corner, but this is a lot of brood as well. Lots of bees. Oh, I found the queen. She is right here. And she was a marked queen with the pink or red color that was of the year. And she is just a very faint little bit on there. Very small amount right there. She's moving slow, just walking around. And now that we spotted our queen, we for sure know that our hive is queen, right? But you know what I just saw also is a queen cup. It's not a queen cell because it's just a cup, and I'm gonna look in there to see if there's any larvae in there. But she seems very calm. She's just walking around. She's got her attendant bees and she looks great. Yay. So that was a successful hive inspection. Not only did we find the signs that a queen was already present, but I just found her. So now we know for sure. This right here is a queen cup. So I'm gonna look in it just to be on the safe side. But I do not see anything in it. Now, the hives will have queen cups for just in case. They are prepared ladies. They like to make sure that worst case scenario is covered, and that's why you will sometimes spot queen cups. It's nothing to be alarmed about. It's something that they will do from time to time just in case something happens to that queen and they need to quickly move an egg. They have a cup ready to go. So that was a successful inspection for finding queen signs. So the 3 things that I pointed out were to look for eggs. Eggs that are sticking straight up are the best because that means that the queen probably laid within a day. As they start to be there for a little bit longer, they will go to their side. So as long as there's an egg, you know that a queen has been there for 3 days at least. So we saw the eggs. Then the other thing is that the quietness of the hive, how calm they are, that's another sign. And the other thing that we look for is queen cells, and there were no queen cells. So, all good. This hive looks great.